Hi guys, it's Emily from Novel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my January TBR 2025. I think I'm going to add the 2025 because it's the first TBR in 2025. You won't see 2025 and all the other ones. I just want to do it for this one because it feels very significant. Now, you know me, I'm filming early. I'm filming this on the 16th of December, so very early. But I'm really excited. You would have already seen a lot of my plans for what I want for January for next year. So you've seen like my channel, like a lot of the things planned. So there's not going to be too many surprises, but obviously I'm just excited. Like this actually TBR kind of was actually one of the hardest to pick that I've had in ages because I'm starting the year fresh. I've got obviously my set of things. So I've got my buddy reads, I've got the TBR jar, I've got my seasonal books, I've got the reread book, I got my Agatha and my classic. But I wanted to start the year off on a high, and I wanted to start the year off on books that I'm excited about because December, I've read so many good books and I've really gone with the whole mood reading and chosen books that I really wanted and been less specific on older books on my TBR. So there are books on here that have been in here a while, but there are books that I've got recently. I've even included one of my library books because the library have been incredible and said that I don't actually have to bring anything back until like the 9th of January. So it is going to be, the library book's going to be one that I'm going to be picking and reading quite quickly. But I've allowed myself to really be happy with my choices. I don't know why, it's just, I've got that feel. But I think I'm going to be cheeky, I'm not going to do the TBR straight away. I'm going to show you my 3 buddy reads and all the other sort of set ones that were chosen. And then I'm going to do the TBR jar. Because yeah, I kind of want to save my excitement. So I've got 3 buddy reads. 2 of them are with Kat. One of them's emotional because it's the last one. But my first buddy read, it isn't actually with Kat. It's with Chatty from the Mad Chatter, and that is The Mercies by Clea and Mildred Hargraves. This is one of her older books, but I listened to an audiobook and I didn't have my own physical copy. So when Chatty said she wanted to read it, I wanted to read my own physical copy and see if I rate it differently on listening to it. So it doesn't count as my reread because, like I said, it's not a reread off my shelf. This is one of the ones where her adult ones. I've read a lot of her middle grade and I've read a lot of her YA, but I haven't read many of her adult ones. And this is The Storm Comes to Life Like a Finger Snap. And it's set in the winter of 16 to 17. The sea around the Norwegian island of Vardo is thrown into a vicious storm. A young woman, Maren, watches as the men of the island are out fishing perish in an instant. Vardo is now a place of women. And then 18 months later, a sinister figure arrives, Absalom Cornet, who has been summoned to bring the women of the island to heal. With him travels his young wife, Ursa. In her new home in Maren, Ursa encounters something she's never seen before, independent women. Where Ursula finds happiness, even love, Absalom only sees a place flooded with terrible evil, one that he must root out at once. It's part of like the witchy stuff, and the witches, they got really tormented, but I loved it when I read it, but it will be hard hitting and it will be emotional. So I don't know if I'll start the month with that, but I'll chat with Chatty about that. Then I've got my 2 to read with Kat. The first one is the last one in this Trials of Apollo series. So we have got other buddy reads. I might give February a break of reading the Percy Jackson because we've got at least another 2 that we want to read. But this is the last in the series, and admittedly, the first 2 in this series we really enjoyed. The 3rd one we didn't, and then the 4th one I'm in the middle of reading at the moment, and I am really enjoying it. So the 5th one I know will be like the end of that series, and I'm really looking forward to finding out how it goes. You definitely need to read this series after you read the Heroes of Olympus series. And it's time to face the final trial. After spending 6 months as a teenager named Lester, Apollo is reaching his endgame. I always look forward to this because I always wait to find out which characters from the other books are mentioned in this. Now Apollo and Meg must get ready for the final and possibly fatal adventure. They're heading back to where their troubles began, Manhattan, and they must face the last emperor, the terrifying Nero, and destroy him at once. Really looking forward to this. I was lucky, this book was given to me by the lovely Lorraine Alba. Lorraine's lovely, a really, really lovely subscriber. And I'm glad because it means that I don't have to buy it second hand. So it's my pretty copy. So I will reread this series again. So that one will think that's going to be read towards the end of the month, because the first buddy read that I want to do in the month is one that's a Christmas one. It's my only Christmas book that I'm bringing over, and that is The Winter Witch by Erin Sterling. And the reason why I want to bring that over is because it's Christmassy, the Christmas trees on it, but it's witchy, and I love witchy. And I thought, to start the year, I want to start the year off on a high, and I know this book will be, because I love the X-Hex, I love the Kiss Curse. This is a series that I'm absolutely really enjoying. A wedding to witness, a brooch to poach, and a house that is haunted as Bowen Penhowland. So I don't know if Bowen's the last brother in the series. I think he is. He's always been a loner, but when his friend, who happens to be a ghost, invites him to a Yuletide wedding at a grand Welsh country estate, Bowen reluctantly agrees. Tamsin Bly is not a witch, but she agrees to manage a finale, an invite to a witchy wedding of the century, in the hopes of making the score of the century. Just one priceless magical artefact from Tyrrell House would set her up for life. But Tamsin isn't the only one sneaking about in Tyrrell House, and the combination of a strong spell and a classic wedding mishap transports Bowen and Tamsin back to Tyrrell's house in 1958. Ooh, in their celebration, the Yuletide celebrations. They must work together to get back to the present. Oh, this does look really good. Really, really looking forward to this. Can't wait. This was my treat. This was the most expensive book in the bloody series, but I loved it. I can't wait to read that. Now for my Agatha Alice book. Sneaky peek. The one I just read, They Do It All With Mirrors, I didn't enjoy as much. And that was my Marple one, and I didn't enjoy that one as much. And I rated it probably lower, but I'll tell you the score of that one at the end. But this will be the next one, the first one of the year, and we've got January and February's one, and then we'll talk about January and February's one at the start of March. And this is another Agatha one, and this is when the Bantries wait to find the body of a beautiful young stranger in the library. Dolly Bantry knows there must be only one person to call on, her old friend Miss Marple. Who was the young girl, and what was she doing in the library? And is there a connection with another dead girl whose child remains are also discovered in an abandoned quarry? Miss Marple must fix the mystery before tongues start to wag and the murderer strikes again. This does look good. Don't know what Alice thought of this, so I'm waiting to find out. It's not very long, which is good. I like the fact that Agatha's books are quite short. Like I said, I hope I like this more than They Do It With Mirrors. Then to my reread of the month, I'm rereading this because the next book in the series is coming out at the end of January, and this is Forging Silver in Stars, which is the start of a new series of hers, which came out about 2 or 3 years ago, and she's waited a while for the next book in the series. And it's connected to the Curse of Dark and Lonely series, the Cursebreaker trilogy, and I love that series. I loved the other Defy the Night series, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I liked the Curse and Breaker series. So I loved this book when I first read it. It is probably the biggest book on this TBR. It's like 539 pages. But I want to read this so that I can read the next one on my birthday month in March. I know it doesn't connect to Bronte Project, but I need something different for that. Magic has been banished from the kingdom of Sile Shallow for as long as Jax can remember. Now times are changing and the magic has returned in the form of a Mage Smith king on the throne. But magic won't save Jax or his best friend Callan when the tax collector comes calling. And then you meet Tycho, Lord Tycho, who is in the Cursebreaker trilogy. And there's a romance going on, and it's a brilliant book. I can't wait to read it. I loved it the first time, and I can't wait to reread it. Now to my 3 seasonal books, which I have talked about in the seasonal video, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. I shouldn't have really gone into that one. The first one is The Night Child by Sally Magnuson, which Charlie got me last year, and it looks, I don't know if it's, like, for starters, it's got my favourite colour on it, but I've been a bit hit and miss. Like, I don't know whether I'm going to like Sally Magnuson's writing. I know Katie likes her, so I'm hoping I will. Loch Katrine is set in 1856 and about Loch Katrine's waterworks, a highland wilderness fast becoming an industrial wasteland, is no place for a lady. Young doctor's wife Isabel Aird grieves for the loss of her unborn children, and she finds unexpected freedom. But there's like a life quickening in her again, so she's obviously pregnant again. And there's a dark presence and looks a bit wintry. Hope I like it. Not too long, it's about 520 pages, so it's not 320 pages, not too long. But yeah, I'm a little bit probably the most nervous about that one. Then to one that I'm really excited about, and this is where Kat laughed her head off about it, and this is The Burnout by Sophie Kinsella. I know she's got another book coming out, but this one, the burnout thing, is how I'm feeling, and I think I will start January with this, because I am well and truly burnt out over the Christmas. December kills me to nobody's business. It really tires me out. And Sasha is well and truly over it all. Work all-consuming, friendships on the back burner, and sex life non-existent. Work, yeah, I only work part-time, but it's all-consuming. Friendships on the back burner, well, we're all busy. That's probably not... Sex life bit, well, I'm not going into details about that. Give Chris some privacy. It's very hard to be fun when you've got two young kids that are all up at all hours. Armed with good intentions to cleanse and relax, she heads off to a Devon resort that she loved as a child. But it's off-season, the hotel is falling apart, and she has to share a beach with a grumpy, stressed-out guy called Finn. Why is it they always have loads of male characters called Finn, and they always end up being attractive? I need to find a sexy Finn. I'm joking, Chris, don't kill me. How can she commune with nature when he's sitting on a rock watching her suspiciously? But when curious messages start appearing on the beach, Sasha and Finn are forced to start talking about everything. What's the mystery, why they both burnt out, and what exactly is manifesting anyway? This looks really bloody good. And it's the last of my seasonal books, and it's the Polar Bear Explorers Club, which by Alex Bell. Charlie got me this last year as well. And it's the start of a series, and if I like it, I'll look for the other books, whether I like. And it's about polar bears, and it's an explorers, it's middle grade. Again, it looks wintry. Meet Shay Silverton Kipling, the captain's son and wolf whisperer. Ethan Edward Rook, magician and an ocean explorer. Beanie, half-elf and medic, you all have to meet Beanie. And Stella Starflake Pearl, orphan and most determined of explorers. And this is the Polar Bear Explorers. And they have an expedition to Iceland. It looks ice cold explorers. It looks blooming good, and it's middle grade fantasy. Not too long, 300 odd pages, but just be what I need. Now to the TBR jar. I can't wait any longer. I've got 13 books in there. I picked very carefully. I don't think there are any books. I will say I might, if I end up getting the complete ghost stories, I won't pick that for January because that's not at all January. But I will put that one back in. But any of the others are perfect. That's just because January I do want to kind of be kind to myself. Oh, I think I've bloody picked that. Oh, we've got a choice of two there. Let's see which one I'm going to get. Okay, here we go. No! I got what might have been. It's a contemporary. This is actually quite good. I was careful. See, you literally saw me pick this up. Might have been. It's my contemporary. It's the whole dual narrative. So it's the sliding doors book, which is one I'm quite excited about. I got this at the works, I think last year. I can't remember. This year. For Lucy, right, one moment can change everything. For Lucy, unexpected. It happens right after she's walked out of her job, uncertain about what the future holds. So the whole sliding doors thing might be quite apt for January. That same night, she finds herself flirting with a handsome stranger at the bar, before unexpectedly running into the man who broke her heart 10 years ago. Both men want to see her, and she needs to decide between them. What path will she take? Really blooming looking forward to that. Well happy with that. TBR jar did well. Thank you, TBR jar. Thank you. Kiss my TBR jar. It is done. Right. Now to a book that, actually, I forgot to tell you this one, my classics for January, and that is Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence. I did not like Lady Chatterley's Lover by D.H. Lawrence, but someone gave me this a while ago, and I have got no idea. I'm going to read it over the whole month, I think. Right, so there was one place in the world that stood solid and didn't melt into unreality, the place where his mother was. Everyone should grow shadowy, almost non-existent. Everyone else could grow shadowy, almost non-existent to him, but she could not. So a very close relationship with his mother. In his quest to find his emotional and independent self, Paul Morel is torn between the strong Oedipal bond he has with his mother and the relationships he forms as a young adult with chaste Miriam and provocative Clara. As Paul matures and struggles with his own and his mother's feeling towards the other women in his wife, Lawrence expertly crafts a timeless and universal story of family, love, and the friendships that define us. It's about 500 pages, I think. So it's not too long, but I'm going to read it over the month. I hope I like it. Now to the next one, which is the start of the series. I don't think I've got as many start of the series because I don't think this is the only one that's the start of the series because I want to gradually start the series over the year. But this is the Wolf Scale series, which is my biggest series to read next year. I don't think I'm doing a video about the series next year that I'm reading. I can't honestly remember, but this is the one that I've been collecting all year, all of this year. And this, I read one of her newer books on audiobook, and I loved the series, and I thought I want to now start it from start to finish and read them all physically. And this is so it'd be interesting to go back and read them all after reading that one that's right now at the end. So this is about the first girl, which is Claire Walsh, the first of the Walsh girls. And her husband James tells her that he's been having an affair and now is the right time to leave. Right, for who exactly? Exhausted, tearful and a bit furious, Claire can't think what to do, so she follows the instincts of all self-respecting adults in tricky situations, and she runs home to my mum and dad. But while her parents are less sympathetic, Claire's younger sisters are less so. Helen wants to share her new toy, she means the baby Kate, where Anna is too busy having out-of-head experiences. So when James slips back into her life, desperate to put things right, Claire doesn't know whether to take a chance on the past she feared she'd lost forever, or to face an uncertain future on her own. Really looking forward to this. It's a bigger book, but I know her books we fly through, so I'm not worried. Then to my library book, and it's The House of Witch by Claire Marchant. It's a short but sweet book. It's less than 300 pages. It's witchy, dual timelines. When Adriana arrives at the small rundown cottage near the sea in Norfolk, she can't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Here she can forget her life in the city and the problems she's left behind. But like Adriana herself, the cottage holds secrets. When Adriana finds a mysterious bundle of notes hidden under the floorboards, she can't help the feeling they've been waiting for her. Especially when, like in the rambling, overgrown garden, she finds a strangely carved stone, drawing her into century-old mystery. Then it goes back to 1646. It's another book in that era. Between her work as a village midwife and the medicine she sells from her cottage, Ursula has no need for a man. But this ideal leaves her unprotected in a world where just one accusation of witchcraft can mean certain death. So when she catches the eye of a powerful young local doctor, she must use every part of her cunning or risk becoming his prisoner. Exciting. Then to a book by an author I love, and this is Christen Hannah. So I've got another author that I love, and this one, I don't know how old this book is. I've just realised I'm reading Christen Hannah in December and in January. Putting them a bit close together, aren't I? So this is one of her older books, I believe, but it does look good. And it's a story of love, loss, heroism, and ultimately hope that brings profound, honest look at the modern marriage and the price of war on an ordinary family. Like many couples, Michael and Jolene have to face the pressures of everyday life. Children, career, bills, household chores, and even their 12-year-old marriage is falling apart. But when an unexpected deployment sends Jolene deep into harm's way and leaves the defence attorney, Michael, at home, unaccustomed to being a single parent to their two girls. As a mother, it agonises Jolene to leave her family. But as a soldier, it proved she has always understood the true meaning of duty. In her letters home, she paints a rose-coloured version of her life on the front line, shielding her family from the truth. But when the war will change Jolene in ways that none of them could have foreseen. Oh my God. And then when tragedy strikes, Michael must face a dark fear and battle on his own. Oh my God, this looks like it could destroy the hell out of me. This video is already longer than I was expecting. Then Call the Midwife starts back. It's got a Christmas special at the start of January, and I think the series starts in January. So I had to read a book connected to that, and it's Jennifer Worth's book, Toffee Apples and Quail Feathers. It's short stories, and it's a new collection of Jennifer Worth's called The Midwife, and it takes you back. It's never seen stories discovered by Jennifer Worth's daughter, Susanna, are all included here for the first time. It's a selection of Susanna's favourites from the original memoirs, featuring Chummy and sister Monica Joan, and it joins in new stories to make a special addition to the Call the Midwife family. Can't blooming wait. This is my perfect non-fiction. Goes with Call the Midwife, just what I needed. Then to another book that looks a bit wintry, and this is the Little Village Library by Helen Wolfe. Library, The Starry Night. I don't know why I chose it. It takes a village. Cloverdale is known for its winding roads, colourful cottages, and now for its library of shared things. A place where locals can borrow anything they might need, from badminton sets to waffle makers. A place where community comes together. And oh my God, it's not a library, but it does sound great. Jennifer has devoted all her energies into launching the library. When her sister Isla moves home and her new dad, Adam, agrees to run a mending workshop at the library, new friendships start to blossom. Well, what is Isla hiding, and can Adam ever mend her broken heart? This just looks really good. Can't flip and wait. Then to one of Ali Hazelwood's most recent new books, and I believe she's got another book coming out soon, which I need to go and Google and put on my Amazon list. Not In Love by Ali Hazelwood, so it's actually a good job that Bride didn't come out. And I believe people have liked this one. I don't know, I hope so. Roy Siebert might have it all, but she has enough new friends that she can always count on. The financial stability she's yearned for as a kid, and a successful career as a biotech engineer. So that's one of her biotech ones that's good. One of the most promising startups in the field of food science. Her world is stable, pleasant, and hard fought until a hostile takeover and its offensively attractive frontman threatens to bring it all crumbling down. Ellie Kilgore and his business partners want Klein, period. Ellie has his own reasons for pushing this deal through. He's a man who gets what he wants, with one burning exception, Rue, the woman he can't stop thinking about, and the woman who's off limits to him. This just looks really good. It's my pink book for Alice. Brilliant. How good does that look? Well excited. Then a book that got shortlisted for the Women's Prize in 2021, Small Pleasures by Claire Chambers. I think a lot of people like this. It's set in Ireland. No, it's set in southeast of... Oh, got it wrong. Set in 1957, actually, the suburbs of southeastern London. Jean Swinley is a journalist in the local paper, trapped by the line of duty and disappointment from which there is no likelihood to escape. When a young woman, Gretchen Tilbury, contacts the paper to claim that her daughter is the result of a virgin birth, it is down to Jean to discover whether she is a miracle or fraud. Looks interesting. I wonder if I'm going to like it. Hope I'm going to like it. I want to get a lot of the older Women's Prize books read before the Women's Prize starts up again in March. Then to a book that the lovely Jack got me for Christmas last year. Okay, scrap that. This is the biggest book on the TBR. It's not the blooming Walsh Girls. Or the Bloomsbury one, or the Doodle one. I've got the big one. This is the biggest one. I'm gonna blooming. What have I done to myself? 671 pages. Maybe I might read this over the long course of time rather than trying to jam it into days. It's historical fiction, and I know that Jack thought I was going to like this. Flora Finnegan is a spirited, ambitious daughter of an Irish dock worker, and he longs to break free from the squalid alleys of Whitechapel, but when her dreams fall apart with the sudden death of her father and the disappearance of her childhood love, Flora flees to New York, where she slowly builds a small grocery shop in the thriving tea house. But she cannot forget, she cannot forget London. Convinced that her father was murdered, Fiona must return to the streets of her childhood, where she must attempt to bring his killers to justice and restore her family's good name. Apparently this is the start of a series, so it will be intriguing whether I like this. Jack thought I'm going to, but it's bloody big, so let's skip. And then the last book is an older book by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I know she's got another book coming out next year. This is one of her older books, which I found, it looks like I think this looks like an American copy. Don't know much about it. It's about a breathtaking novel about modern marriage, the depth of family ties, and the year that one remarkable heroine spends exploring both. When Lauren and Ryan's marriage reaches breaking point, they come up with an unconventional plan. They decide to take a year off in the hope of finding their way back to love again. 1 year apart and only 1 year rule, they cannot contact each other. Oh my god, I can't imagine that. Aside from that, everything goes. Lauren embarks on a journey of self-discovery, quickly finding that her friends and family have their own ideas about the meaning of marriage. Their influences, as well as their own healing processes and the challenges of living apart from Ryan, begin to change Lauren's idea about monogamy and marriage. She starts to question whether you have to have romance without fidelity and commitment without marriage. When love and lust are no longer tied together, what do you value? What are you willing to fight for? This does look interesting, and I'm really excited for it. But let's see what I think of it. So, those are my January books. Still trying to decide what I put in the thumbnail, but I'm really, really excited about all of them. So, if you got to the end of this video, because it's like New Year, new start, do any of the celebration emojis. Any celebration emoji, put that in the comments down below if you don't want to leave a comment. If you want to leave a comment, actually, if you got to the end of the video, please just leave me that thing, just to know that you put up with me for 25 minutes. Are there any of these books that you think I should prioritise? Are there any you want to buddy read or you want to talk to me about? Please let me know in the comments. I love chatting to you all. It's brilliant, brilliant fun. And I hope you all have a great start to January. I am praying with every bit of my heart that 2025 is a better year and that we don't have any losses. It's obviously part of life, there will be, but you know, I hope 2025 is a better year. And I hope you all have a great celebration at the end of this year, because I know this is one of the last videos coming out before Christmas. There you go. I'm a bit of a mixture, aren't I? I hope you liked this video. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribed, big on my diggling, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.